Lucky 13. All right.
Now, for most of you, it goes through the 2 rings, and then back through the middle. And you don't have to choke yourself, but we don't want to see any space. Okay? It needs to be snug. Now, those of you that have full face helmets and do not have glasses, okay, what we want you to do then is when you're riding or on the bike, you have to have your shield at least covering your eyes. Okay, at least covering your eyes. If you brought glasses and you have a full face helmet, then you can ride with the shield up all day. That's fine.
Are you recording?
Yep.
You gonna record all day?
Yep.
I know, and that's it.
Okay, put your gloves on.
So now you should be ready to ride. Eyes protected, feet protected, hands protected, arms and legs, ankles. And when you ride, we're going to ask that you pull your sleeves down, please, when you ride.
Anytime you get on the bike, your sleeves need to be down. All right, now we're going to mount the bike in a very specific way. Put your hands on the hand grips. Keep the handlebars turned the way they are. Squeeze the front brake. Squeeze the front brake, which is the right lever, and mount the motorcycle. Straighten the bike up. Handlebars straight. Side stand up. Sit down. Sit down. All right.
Now once you
get a big surprise.
Once you have both feet on the ground, you can release the front brake lever and return to the hand grip.
Right, so remember what we talked about. Your right hand's going to remain around the throttle unless you're using the front brake. Your left hand, your fingers are going to be out over the clutch all the time. All the time, right? And if you see a signal like Dan's doing, that's just a reminder to put your hand with your fingers out over the clutch. Over the clutch. Okay, good. Now, good posture. We talked about this last night. Elbows slightly bent. Shoulders relaxed. Right? Shoulders relaxed, elbows bent. No stiff arm riding. Okay? Head and eyes should be up. On a motorcycle, you go where you look. So if you start looking down, you're going to be kissing the ground. So keep those head and eyes up, or be looking where you're going. Okay, go ahead and lean the motorcycle to the left and the right and just get a feel for the weight. Okay, just get a feel for the weight of the bike. Your eyes should still be up.
These are 300 pounds.
Okay, obviously these bikes aren't real heavy. Keep your head and eyes up. Head and eyes up. Okay. Go ahead and turn the handlebars now to the left and the right. See how far they'll go. Just get a feel for what that feels like. Your fingers should still be out over the clutch. The clutch should not be pulled in. Your right hand should be around the throttle. All right, straighten up the handlebars. Now last night we had a little discussion about turning a motorcycle, the press or the push on the hand grip in order to turn the bike. So with the handlebars straight, do not turn the handlebars. All I want you to do is apply a little pressure to the left hand grip and lean the bike to the left.
Keep your knees loose.
Okay, lean the bike to the left. Okay, straighten it up. Go ahead and press on the right hand grip and lean the bike to the right. This is just to start to get you used to the idea. Your eyes should be up. Don't be looking down. Not a good place to look unless that's where you want to spend most of the day. Alright? Straighten up. Now the throttle, which is your right hand. Okay? Remember we talked about how your wrist should be flat or your wrist should be lower than your knuckles. You to move it around and find a comfortable position. What we don't want to see is this, right? What we want to see is this. So with your hand in its current position, you don't have to roll the throttle on as far as it will go. All I want you to do is roll it on as far as you can with your hand in this position. Just roll it on,
Believe me,
roll it off.
that'll be enough.
Roll it on halfway and roll it off. Roll it on a quarter of the way and roll it off. Okay, good. Okay, now we're going to practice that front brake. Remember what I talked about, the importance of making sure you're reaching out and squeezing that front brake without rolling your palm on the throttle. So, roll on the throttle, roll off the throttle, reach out and squeeze. Put your hand back on the throttle. Roll on the throttle, roll off the throttle, reach out and squeeze. Okay, go ahead and practice that on your own, making sure you're not rolling your hand on that throttle when you're applying that front brake. And remember, we talked about it's a squeeze. It's a squeeze, not a grab. It's a squeeze. Also remember, if you grab that front brake too hard and that front tire starts to skid, what do?
Let go.
Immediately release and reapply. Immediately release and reapply. Okay, good. Find the engine cutoff switch. It's that red toggle switch by your right thumb. Okay? Closer to you is going to be the run position. Further away from you is the off position. And we're always going to be turning the motorcycle off with those toggle switches. Okay? And then we're turning the key off right afterwards. Find the electric start button, which is just below it. Okay, the keys are off. You can press the buttons. It doesn't matter.
Your right hand, right thumb.
The clutch lever is your left hand, right? So go ahead and squeeze in the clutch and ease it out slowly. Squeeze in the clutch and ease it out slowly all the way. Not halfway and releasing, right? Ease it out slowly. Now squeeze in the clutch, ease it out halfway and hold it halfway. What do you think that's going to be?
Friction zone.
Right, very good. We talked about the importance of the friction zone last night. So somewhere around there, halfway out, is going to be that friction zone. That point at which, if the bike's in gear and it's running, as you ease out the clutch, the rear wheel becomes engaged and the motorcycle starts to move. The choke, okay, everybody should know where their choke is now if you have one. And the fuel supply valve, just put your left hand on the fuel supply valve. Okay, and notice how a lot of you have to look, right? Now obviously, when you're on your own bike, if you have a fuel valve, you don't want to be riding at 60 miles an hour and not know where your reserve position is and you're sticking your head over the side of your bike, right? So if you have your own bike, you need to understand where the fuel valve is and which way to manipulate it in order to put it on reserve or shut the fuel off. Okay, I do not want you to put your foot up. All I want you to do is take your left hand and point to where the gear shift lever is on the left side of the bike. Okay, just point to it so we all know that you know where the gear shift lever is. Okay, put your hand back on the hand grip. Put your right foot up on the rear brake and practice pressing on the rear brake. Now, obviously, the ball of your foot should be on the brake pedal. The back of your foot should remain on the footrest. So up and down, go ahead, get a feel for it, how far you need to engage it. Okay, some of them are in different positions. Just kind of get used to it. Try to keep your eyes up. Try to keep your eyes up. You start looking down, all of a sudden you lose your stability. Keep your eyes up. Okay, both feet on the ground. Okay, go ahead and turn your ignition switches on. Both feet on the ground.
Oh boy.
You should know where your key is now. turn signals. The turn signals have been removed from the bikes, and that's just well, it's just so they don't get modified by students. I don't know how to put that any better. But the switches are obviously still there. So find your turn signal switch and go ahead and you can manipulate it. Obviously, different bikes have switches in different places. Some bikes have turn signals, switches on both sides. Most of these bikes have them on one side. It's just to give you an idea where turn signal switches are. The light switch, go ahead and find your high and low beam light switch. You can manipulate that. Most of the lights have been disconnected, some of them haven't. Please keep them in the low position, okay, so that Dan and I don't get blinded during the day. Alright, so keep them in the low position. Go ahead and honk your horns. Okay, that's all the fun you get to have with the horn. Okay, unless there's an emergency and somehow you can't get our attention, there's no reason to be honking the horn at each other. Go ahead and turn your ignition switches off. Put your side stands down. Make sure they're fully extended. Now we're going to dismount in a very specific way. Rest the bike on the side stand with the handlebars straight. Handlebars straight. Squeeze the front brake. Dismount with the handlebars straight. Once you're off the bike, then you turn the handlebars to the left. Okay, don't turn the handlebars first. Turn to the left afterwards. And the reason for that is it makes the bike stable.
Make sure when you get off that this is not balancing. Make sure it's stable before you walk away. Otherwise it could be a moment of embarrassment.
Alright, now we're going to remount the same way. Go ahead, both hands on the hand grips, squeeze the front brake, mount the motorcycle. Straighten it up, side stands up, hands in their proper position. Okay, very good. Now, this signal means that we want you to put your bike in neutral, and then we want you to raise your left hand so that we know the bike is in neutral also. Okay, so go ahead and check to see if your bike's in neutral. How do you do that? You roll the bike, right? Roll the bike. If it's in neutral, go ahead and raise your left hand. Raise your left hand if you know the bike's neutral, your other left. Okay? It's not in neutral.
Okay, and once you do that and we acknowledge you, then put your hand back on the grip. Did you get it? Okay. If you're not in neutral, then find neutral. So squeeze in the clutch and maybe go down or up.
Well, the problem is probably. Okay, so everybody's in neutral. One, two. Now, we're gonna do a little practice with shifting. Sometimes when the motorcycles aren't running, the transmissions don't engage very easily. Okay, so as we go through this, some of you may not be able to get it in gear right away. It's not your fault. It's just because the bike's not running. And like I said, sometimes the transmissions won't engage that easily. You can't get it into a gear. We'll come over and help you. So what I want you to do right now is squeeze in the front brake. Squeeze in the clutch. Squeeze in the clutch and shift down the first gear. You should feel a little click. Now, it's really important. Now, I'm assuming, well, everybody's at least, I know, 18 years old, right? So you've had your feet for at least 18 years. So is there really any reason to be looking at your feet, right? So let's try not to look at our feet. Let's try not to look at our hands, okay? We're supposed to, you can't be riding around looking down, okay? So now, ease out the clutch and roll the bike. Ease the clutch out, put both feet on the ground, ease that clutch out, and roll the bike. Okay, it should not roll. If it rolls, that means you're not in gear. So who is not in gear? Okay, so
you may need to squeeze in the clutch and roll as you push down. Roll the bike a little bit as you push down. There you go. Now ease out the clutch, and you'll feel it in the first gear. Okay, good.
All right. Everybody's in first, right? So if I do this, what do I want you to do?
Put it in neutral.
Put it in neutral. Where's neutral? It's right. It's up. Now remember, if you pull up too hard, it's going to go right past neutral in the second gear, right? So go ahead and do it. Pull in the clutch. Put your foot under the gear shift. Pull up a little bit till you feel a little click.
Once again, you may have to roll it a little bit.
Clutch out. Roll the bike to check whether you're in neutral. If you're in neutral, put your left hand up. Okay, once I acknowledge you, you can put your hand down.
Keep working. I mean, it's there somewhere. So
Roll the bike.
keep working on it. Find out.
Clutch out. Clutch out. Roll the bike. Okay, pull in the clutch. Pull up.
And if you're stumped, press down, and then you'll think you'll be in first, so that it'll be an easy lift to get to neutral. If the bike doesn't know what you're doing.
Our next person loved the Japanese horse.
Use out the clutch.
Anybody else not in neutral?
Okay, squeeze in the clutch. Downshift. Okay, you out the clutch. Roll. Okay, squeeze in the clutch. Downshift again.
Now, in the next exercise, we're going to ask you to put the bike in neutral while the bike is running. Some of the bikes sometimes can be difficult to put in neutral just because these are beginner bikes and they've been abused a little bit. Okay? If you're having trouble, all the bikes will go into neutral when they're not running. Okay, without really too much of an issue. In the next exercise, when we're asking you to put it in neutral,